Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right, we have a pen that I added in 2021, and this is a Danitrio. It's a Takumi and it's the Moonlit Grass. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial, and this is the Pearl and Black. We have a Parker Duofold, and this is the Prestige Black Chevron. A Parker Duofold Prestige in the blue chevron. A Wahl Eversharp, and this is a Decoband Oversize in the Positano blue. Another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and this is in the Jade. Another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and this is in the Wild. We have an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra, and this is the Chatterley Luxuries, and this is the Wild West. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight, and a Pelikan M1000 Radon Sunlight. So I think let's just go through these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is a beautiful, beautiful pen that I was able to add to my collection. A friend, William Shakur, had decided to reduce or slim down his collection in 2021. And I saw this pen on his for sale spreadsheet that he was sending around to other collectors and myself. And I decided this was a pen that I just had to own because I do like the Danitrio pens. I do have another Danitrio. I have the Bamboo Story. And I do like Urushi, and I do like Makie. And this is a Urushi pen in the Aka Tamanuri finish. So it's this beautiful sort of deep red sort of color that you see here on the pen. But it then has a lot of gold on it as well. And it has this Makie, so you can see there. And this is the moon. And down here on the base, or the where the piston filling knob would be, is effectively the Moonlit Grass. So the moon up here is actually lighting up the grass. And this is a beautiful pen, and I'm so glad I was able to add this to my collection. It has the Danitrio Fireball nib there. It's a number 6 size nib, and you can see some gold flecks around Makie around that section there. Now, it is an ABS plastic feed, I believe. But I like this. It's a cartridge converter pen. It's Urushi, it's Makie, and I have to say, over the last couple of years, I have wanted to add more Urushi pens to my collection, and I'd say probably since the start of lockdown in the pandemic in probably early 2020 that I wanted to add some more. So I was really glad that I had the chance to add this. It wasn't a cheap pen, but it likewise, for what the price of some Danitrios go for, it wasn't an expensive pen. So I do love writing with this. It has a fine nib on there as well, but I do like that nib, and it's strange. Going back to 2017, I was in a heavy stub acquisition phase. More recently, I went back to mediums, and then back to broads, and back to mediums, and then fines. I still write with broads, mediums, and fines for the most part. I don't write as much with stub nibs, but I'm liking more fine nibs lately. So I have this one inked up this week. Then we have this one, and this is the Parker Duofold Centennial. So if you don't know, the Centennial is the larger of two versions. There's the Centennial and there's the International, which is a shorter version and slightly thinner as well. So this is the beautiful Parker Duofold Centennial. It's the Pearl and Black. it was one that I wanted to add for a number of years to my collection, and I have managed to add that to my collection. So you can see there, it's got a Parker clip there. It's got this lovely white, pearly sort of, hence the name, black, pearl and black. It's got this sort of pearlescent pearl there, almost like mother of pearl. And then it has a number 6 size nib, and this is a fine nib that you'll see. If I can show you there, F for fine. And I like it. It's a cartridge converter pen, but I do like this a lot. So I am writing with that as well. I was a little bit disappointed when I was going to buy this because it was a fine nib, and typically I don't do fine nibs. However, I had previously, very recently prior to that, bought this one here. And this is a fine nib, and I actually liked it. So this is another Parker Duofold. This is a Centennial size, but it's not a Centennial. It's the Prestige, and it's the black chevron. And you can see that here. You've got the Parker Duofold emblem there. You've got the Parker clip, and you can see the black chevron there. Now, strange enough, I had actually wanted the burgundy version, but the burgundy version was way too much to what I wanted to pay, and I saw this black chevron going for what was really a really good deal, so I decided to get a black chevron, and I'm actually liking it. So maybe I will eventually pick up a burgundy version at some point, but I think it will only be if the price is right. I'm not going to pay the retail price for these, and I got this way below retail. So this again also has a fine nib there. Get that to focus. But you can see there it's got the lucky heart nib there as well. And this is just a beautiful pen. So I love writing with that, even though, again, it's a fine nib. So I guess I'm gravitating a little bit more towards finer nibs. I don't think I could probably ever get to an extra fine nib. I think extra fine for me is just too fine a nib, and likewise needle points as well. However, I am liking fine nibs. The next one is, again, another Parker Duofold, and again, a Prestige. This is a blue chevron, and this is what started me down this Parker route. This was my first one, and you can see there the Parker emblem there, the heart. Now, you've got the Parker clip on here as well, and it is, again, Centennial size, but it is a Prestige, but it's a blue chevron. And I got this, again, for what was an insane deal at the time. So this is a medium nib that you can see there. And again, it's got the Parker Lucky Heart logo there on the nib. Again, this is a really good pen. I did get it for an insane price, and that's why I bought this back in, I want to say, I think it was 2017 that I purchased this pen. I'd have to look it up. But I do like writing with this nib and this pen. It's a pen that I like, and again, I'm trying to ink up some of the pens that I haven't written with more recently, perhaps. And there's a selection of pens here that maybe I have written with, but for me, I'm trying to mix these up a little bit. Now, the next pen here is a Wahl Eversharp, and this is the Decoband Oversize, and this is in the Positano blue. And I will just get that to line up so you can see that beauty there in all its glory. So this is an oversized pen. You can see that that is a one honker of a cap in terms of diameter. These are pneumatic fillers, so you do actually have a chamber inside here, and inside that chamber you have a sac. So you use gravity and likewise suction to suck up ink into what essentially is a rubber latex sac. Now, these nibs are 18 karat gold nibs on the Wahl Eversharps. There is only one nib width, and typically it's a medium, although the medium typically writes a little bit broad, which is what you find on the Armando Simoni Club, which are using effectively the same nibs, they just laser engrave them slightly differently. But this, again, I like pens that are wet writers, and for me, this is a very wet writing pen, and it's a pen that, again, I like writing with. So maybe I can't write so much in notebooks where I have to turn the pages a little bit more, but if I'm writing letters, this is a pen that I gravitate towards. So I've got that one inked up this week as well. Again, another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize. Now, this is in the Jade. Now, I did do a review, and you can see it here on my channel, of the Jade. However, it wasn't this one. The review that I did was with gold trim, not silver trim. And that was a pen that was on loan to me from John at stjohnspens.com. And around that time, I decided, actually, you know what, I really wanted the Jade. And I saw this going at a very good price at Bryant's site at chatterleyluxuries.com. And I decided to pick it up. So this is the Jade, and this really has a beautiful, beautiful chatoyance going on there. It's a really nice pen, and again, while Eversharp, these nibs, it's a single nib width designation, so a medium that writes more like a broad. However, it writes super, super wet. So again, I like how these write, so I have that pen inked up with me this week as well. So I did eventually buy a pen. Now, I could have probably bought the one from John, honestly, but this was really a much, much better price that I knew I just couldn't turn down the price that Bryant was offering it up for sale at. So I decided I wanted also a couple of pens from Bryant. So I decided that I would get the Positano Blue and also the Jade at the same time. And it just made a lot more sense. Now, the next pen again is another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize. And this is in the wild. And this was a exclusive that Bryant did in 2020 around, I think it was Fountain Pen Day. And I decided I'd actually ordered these two, and then a week or two later this came up, and I was like, damn it, I need to buy this. So I'm gonna have to just order it on its own. I didn't want to buy another pen. Typically I will buy pens in 2s or 3s if they're international, because it helps cut down on the customs cost. But this is a beautiful pen. Now, I do have the back end here of this pneumatic filler unscrewed a bit, because of the ruthenium trim, is very, very tight. So I do find that I need to get a rubber grip and loosen that off. So if I leave it slightly open, it's a little bit easier to turn and work that knob. But it is very, very stiff on this pen. And it's not just this pen. I've got another friend, Tony, that has the exact same one, and he has the same issue with it. Now, the nib again is a single nib width, so this is a medium that writes more like a broad nib. I love the wild celluloid. Now, I have a bunch of wild celluloid pens, and this one is the 4th one in this celluloid that I have. And celluloid is very difficult to make nowadays and get hold of. So the world's stock level of celluloid is unfortunately reducing. So I'm glad that I have a bunch of celluloid pens, and this is one of them. Now, these two are not celluloid, these are resin, but this one is celluloid. The next pen is another pen that I bought from Bryant, and again, that was I bought a couple pens from him at the time, I believe, and this is the Armando Simoni Club, and it's a Bologna Extra, and it is the Wild West. And I love this pen. I like these sort of styrated sort of layering going on. I've got a Leonardo Officina Italiana Memento Zero Grande in the sand, and I love that. So when I saw this, I decided I would get it. It's a little bit like the Visconti Speakeasy Celluloid and the St. Basil, but it's not quite the same. It's really quite different. Now this is a resin, the Speakeasy is celluloid, but I do like this pen a lot. And again, because it's an Armando Simoni club, it's got the Magic Flex nib there. It's an 18 karat gold nib. It's a medium, but writes more like a broad. Very wet, and I do like how these write. So I have that one inked up with me today as well. The next pen I have inked up is this one, and it's a Pelikan M1000 Radon Starlight. And I have actually got the piston open slightly there. Now I'm going to twist that down, and I just hope it's not going to eject a load of ink into the cap. I better just double check that. No, that's fine. But this is a beautiful pen. It's a Warden and it's a Maquis, and you can see here it's got the abalone shell stripes here that Pelican do really, really well. And it's also got a load of gold dust here on the pen that you can see. So this is a beautiful pen. These pens are not cheap. And when I say they're not cheap, they are really not cheap. However, I like this one so much, I did get a good deal on it. And I decided that I would purchase this pen. And I did. And this is the M1000 with an 18 karat gold nib. And that is a medium nib that I have there. But these are really beautiful pens. They are works of art, hence why they are not cheap. But I do like writing with this, and I have to write with all of my pens. So this one is inked up this week as well. And then the last pen I have inked up again is another Pelikan M1000 Radon Sunlight. And it is, again, another M1000, and you can see the Pelican logo there. Again, it's a Radon, it's a Maquis, and you've got the abalone shell stripes. Now, these stripes are a little bit thinner than on the Starlight, but you don't have any gold dust, and this really, really does sparkle. So again, this is a beautiful pen, and I do like these Maquis. I do like the Radon, and again, it's got another medium nib there, M1000 nib. But I love these pens a lot, and I have to write with them. So even though they are expensive pens and they are beautiful pens, I do have to write with them. So I have that one inked up with me this week as well. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen is the Danitrio Takumi, and this is the Moonlit Grass. So let's do a writing sample. So this is quite a lovely nib. It is quite a wet writer as well. So you'll see that here. But this is quite wet. I did actually prime this as well. So let me just wipe off the nib a little bit, because that may be causing it to let out a little bit more ink. So this is the Danitrio, and it's the Takumi, and it's the Moonlit Grass. Now, this is I want to double check it. This is a fine, and it is an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is a really lovely ink. And this is Diamine, and it's Poppy Red, which is a beautiful red ink. Now, the next pen is the Parker Duofold Centennial. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is quite a wet nib. It's not as wet as the Danitrio, but it's still quite wet. So this is a Parker, and it's the Duofold, and it's the Centennial. And it is the pearl and black. Now it's a fine, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here today is Diamine, and it's purple rain, which is an ink I got a number of years ago, and I really do like that ink. And it's been an ink that I've been using a lot more recently in writing letters. So I inked that up. It's a sheening ink. It's also a German exclusive ink, so you can only buy it in Germany. But you'll see it has a bit of a goldish sheen to it. The next pen is a Parker Duofold Prestige in the black Chevron. So we'll do a writing sample. Now, this is a fine nib. However, I do find, again, like a little bit like the Danitrio, this is quite wet. Or even like the Parker Duofold Centennial as well. So this is a Parker, and it's the Duofold, and it's the Prestige, and it's the black Chevron. And again, it's a fine, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Franklin, Christoph, and it's Sweet Maroon, which is a beautiful ink, and it's an ink that I typically do like a lot, and it's an ink that I think I have about 3 or 4 bottles of now, and I bought them all in one go, and it's just taken me a long time to get through that ink. The next pen is the Parker Duofold Prestige, and this is the blue Chevron. So let's do a writing sample. Now, this is a medium nib. I do find that it writes really a little bit more drier. Now, the ink I'm using in here is also a dry ink as well. So this is a Parker Duofold Prestige, and this is the blue Chevron, but it's a medium 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Papier Plume, and it is Forget-Me-Not Blue, which is quite an interesting blue colour. It's one that I do like a lot. I have actually found a good replacement for this, but let me just show you the cap here. You'll see that that is the kind of colour that it comes out of. So almost like a pansy type sort of colour there. The next pen is a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and this is the Positano Blue. So let's do an ink swatch. Now, I did mention that these are very wet nibs, and it certainly is. So this is the Wahl Eversharp, and it's the Decoband, and it's the Oversize, and it's in the Positano Blue. Now, it's a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, and it is Majestic Blue. The next pen is again another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, but this is in the Jade. So let's do an ink swatch here. So this is again another wet writing nib, although this ink typically is a little bit drier. So this is the Wahl Eversharp, and it's the Decoband Oversize, and it's in the Jade, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's Aqua Lagoon, which is a beautiful colour ink. The next pen is again another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, but this is in the Wild. So we'll do another ink swatch here. Now again, this is a wet writing nib. And you can see that there. Now this is the Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and it's in the Wild, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Waterman, and it's Intense Black, which is one of my couple of black inks, go-to black inks that I will use if I'm using a black ink. And I rarely use black inks, but when I do, it's Waterman Intense Black. The next pen here is an Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra, and it's a Wild West. So let's do an ink swatch here. And again, these are quite wet nibs, although this ink tends to be a little bit less wet. So this is an ASC Bologna Extra. It's also the Chatterley Luxuries exclusive. So I'm going to put here Chatterley, and it's the Wild West, and it's a medium 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Waterman, and it's Audacious Red, which is a nice red ink. The next pen is a Pelikan M1000 Radon Starlight. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, this is quite a dry ink that I do find, but it's a lovely colour ink. So this is a Pelikan M1000, and it's the Radon, and it's the Starlight, and it is a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's Honey Burst, which is a beautiful colour ink. And then the final pen inked up this week is a Pelikan M1000 Radon Sunlight. So let's do an ink swatch. Now, these are wet nibs, and this is a very nice flowing ink as well. So this is the Pelikan M1000 Radon, and it's the Sunlight. And this is a medium 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is a Pen Show exclusive. It's KWZ, and it is Nuki Brown. And Nuki, if you're not aware, is short for Newcastle Brown, as in Newcastle Brown Ale. So, I think let's just go through these pens inked up one more time. We have a Danitrio Moonlit Grass in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Poppy Red, and you can see that this was so wet it's feathering on this Oxford Optic paper. We have a Parker Duofold Centennial Pearl in Black in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Purple Rain. We have a Parker Duofold Prestige Black Chevron in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Franklin Christoph Sweet Maroon. We have a Parker Duofold Prestige Blue Chevron in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Papier Plume Forget Me Not Blue. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Positano Blue in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Majestic Blue. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Jade in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Aqua Lagoon. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Wild in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Waterman Intense Black. We have on Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra. This is a Chassis Luxuries Wild West in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Waterman Audacious Red. We have a Pelikan M1000 Radon Starlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Honeyburst. And then we have a Pelikan M1000 Radon Sunlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Nuki Brown. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.